Jeremyha Lyle has been with Toastmasters for 13 years, and during that time, he has served in many leadership roles, serving for 12 years as a club officer and over 4 years as a district leadership. Jeremyha credits his success in life thanks in part to Toastmasters program. Jeremyha will be sharing his journey from the backroom printer to a business owner and how the Toastmasters program has helped him into the person he is today. Jeremyha's, and I'll give you the long part. And let's see. The change over 13 years has been paved by lots of successes and failures, but Jeremyha looks forward to sharing his journey, knowing that each of us are in our own journeys. Jeremyha Lyle, backroom to boardroom, Jeremyha Lyle. Do you want to hold this? No, and I've got the little portable one too.
I'll take the portable one.
Okay, that's in my pocket here. Clippy here.
Thank you so much. I do. Just get myself ready here real quick. Can everybody hear me okay online? Okay. Thank you so much, Mr. Toastmaster, fellow Toastmasters and guests. I remember it like it was over 20 years ago. My very first job, fresh out of college. I was ready to set the world on fire. Do you remember what your first real job was? And I don't mean working at Carl's Jr. I mean the real job, the one that you went to school for and you said, this is my life. What was it? Somebody tell me, what was your first real job? Accounting. Anybody else? Mailman, truck driver. Anybody online? What was your first real job, Ralph?
I worked for a farmer from the time you could see till the time you couldn't see.
Fantastic. David, what about you?
A machinist.
A machinist. So we all remember that very first day. Me, my first day was inside an architectural office. I have a degree in architecture. Actually, I have an associate's degree. I was getting ready. I was going to go get my bachelor's, but I wanted to be an architect. What they did, though, is they stuck me in the back room and they said, here's what you're going to do today. You're going to print up this set of plans. You're going to staple it. And then afterwards, you're going to go print that set of plans, hole punch it, then staple it. And then from there, we'll have you do another set of plans, staple it, but roll that set up because we need to mail them. So my first job was in the back room of an architecture firm. I was responsible for delivering plans all over Southern California. We did Vaughn's, Cardenas markets. I could print plans and change paper on a printer faster than you could even blink an eye. But something happened. After a couple of years, I didn't want to be an architect anymore. I got tired of doing it. And I got let go. And my boss inside his office goes, Jeremyha, you've been a valued asset of our company, but it's just time to part. But I really think you should get into sales. And I said, no, I'm not really a salesman per se. I just like to talk. But he said, I really think you should think about it. And I walked out that day and I didn't know what to do. I was kind of lost. I spent $20,000 going to college to get a degree on something I don't want to do anymore. So I did what every 20-something-year-old kid did. I found me another job. I went and roofed, realized I didn't like that because I'm scared of heights. I ended up bouncing at a bar for a while. And I'll tell you, that was a pretty awesome job, if you must know. I worked as an estimator. I worked at an energy company doing line drawings all day long. But I could never seem to stay at a place for longer than a year. It wasn't exciting. It wasn't me. I needed something else. Every job was, well, except for working at the bar, every job was made sure my suit was on nice, had to have a tie, slacks, dress shoes. It was corporate. So I said, I gotta find something else. I ended up applying at a job as an estimator for a countertop company almost 16 years ago. And I applied knowing that I wasn't going to be there that long because once again, dress shoes, slacks, collared shirts, I had to sit in an office. The job sucked for the first 6 months. But something amazing happened. I was driving to work one morning. My wife calls me and says, I've been a little sick lately, and I just took a test, and we're going to have a kid. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be a dad. Oh my God, I'm going to be a dad. I could barely hold down a job for longer than a year at this point, and I'm now going to have to raise a human for longer than a year? What in the hell am I going to do? Well, that same week, we let go of our commercial sales rep at that countertop company. And I walked into my boss's office knowing if I'm going to have a kid, I need to make more than $48,000 a year. And so I walked into his office just like this, and I said, Mark, you just let her go. I want that job. Let me have a chance. Give me a shot to sell. And Mark said, sure, we'll give you a shot. You like to talk. You've been with us for a while. And he did. And I sold countertops for about 6 months to the residential market. Went to Lowe's, Home Depot's customers. They were easy sales. But I got my feet wet a little bit. And then I made my first commercial sales call. And let me tell you how that call went. I got up super early. I had my list of people, and I got to Corona at 7 o'clock in the morning. See, I was from Corona, so I wanted to make sure that I ran into somebody I knew. And I walked into this customer's office, very Rico Suave style. And I said, hi, yes, I'd like to talk to your purchasing person. And he said, that's me. And I said, okay, could I talk to you about countertops? And he said, you have 5 minutes. And I said, all right. I said, hi, my name is Jeremyha Lyle. I'm with Precision Surfaces, and I'd love to talk to you about your countertops. And I'm going to tell you about how much I can be able to service your countertops and everything that I could possibly be able to do to be able to help make sure that you've got every bit of countertops that you could ever possibly need. And I look forward to be able to earn your business. Thank you so much. And I walked out. And I said, I cannot do this. I didn't breathe for those 5 minutes. I didn't know what to do. I know I didn't make the sale because I never even gave him a chance to talk. But I walked out and I started driving home. I got halfway to Riverside and I said, I'm going to give it a shot because we have kids. I turned around right at Auto Center Drive on the 91, turned around, drove back to Corona, and I finished my 14 sales calls. I did not make a single sale that day, but I was determined to succeed. For the next 2 years, I became a halfway decent, mediocre sales rep. I would sell $500,000, $750,000 worth of sales. It was decent enough to keep my job, but not enough to really make some money. But then I thought I needed to take it to the next level. And I saw an ad in the newspaper about Toastmasters. And I decided to go check it out. And I showed up to Coffee and Toastmasters in March of 2009. And in April of 2009, I put my name on a piece of paper and said, I want to be a member. And that club did something for me at that very day that changed the course of my career. They assigned me a mentor. That mentor's Jack Nelson's wife, Susan Nelson. But whenever they assigned me a mentor, she began to talk to me about the program of Toastmasters. She explained to me what the CL was, what the CC was. And what she told me is follow the book from project 1 to project 10. Attend the meetings, be active with your club, and always take a role if possible. Simple enough, right? I followed that to the T. I got my CC in a year, my competent communicator in a year, got my competent leader just after that. But something else started happening. All of a sudden, I started making more sales. I went from $500,000 to $1 million that year. All of a sudden, numbers started increasing. And what I realized is I stopped selling based off of price. I realized there were some things maybe I was learning. Things like being able to think on my feet. When do we have to think on our feet? Table topics. Things like being able to communicate my strategic plan to somebody about how I was going to be able to help fulfill their project. Maybe something like our club success plan with planning. If we were giving information back to our installers about things that needed to happen, or maybe ways that they could be able to improve to make our jobs easier, it was a little bit of like what would that be? Evaluations. I started taking those skills and putting them into my career. The lessons that I learned from going from step 1 to step 10, they became what I did. After 5 years, I was selling on average $3 million a year. I went from a mediocre sales rep to somebody that was called by other companies to try to be picked up. They wanted to hire me. Unfortunately, the market took a downturn and that company closed. I spent 2 years at another countertop company, but I made a decision after those 2 years. I want my own business. And I decided to take the jump and become a small business owner. We opened up a place 7 years ago, 900 square feet. I know, be amazed. All 900 square feet was mine. You could almost touch from side to side if you and somebody else were standing there. That's how narrow this place was. That first year, we did $300,000 out of that 9 square feet. I sold my business 5.5 years ago, and we were on track to do $5 million. In 5 years, that's the steps we took. But let me tell you something. The thing that really changed me as a business owner was we had to start doing different things. I had to get away from the employee mindset. I had to strategic plan. What's that? The district success plan. I had to be able to start focusing on my finances and make sure that I was being held accountable to the other people on my team, my accountant. What is that? District finance. I had to start building my leaders, my managers, find the right people to help me succeed. What's that? It's your high performance leader, right? I just took the Toastmasters skills that I was already doing and put them in my business world. Every month, we would sit together with our leaders inside our boardroom. In our 10,000 square foot facility that we had, we were able to have our own boardroom. And I would sit there with our leaders and we would have a conversation about how we can be able to succeed. What do we need to do to make it right for our customers? What do we need to do to be able to help support our customers? And how can we be better as a company? And we did that for 5 years. Now, that company is a very long history ago. As I said, I sold that 5.5 years ago because life changed. I changed. I wasn't the same person I was whenever I first got into sales and countertops. You see, whenever I first got into sales and countertops, I didn't have an opportunity to see my daughter take her first steps, see her crawl. I missed her first words. I thought maybe it's time for me to start really focusing on me. And I did. Whenever I sold my company, I went from doing 60, 70,000 miles a year on my car to 30 feet from my bedroom to my home office. I would work 60, 70, 80 hours some weeks. Now I work 40 if I really want to work hard. But I was able to focus on things. I was able to change from a boardroom to a soccer coach. I was able to be there whenever my son had his doctor's appointments. I was able to take time off to go to Ohio for his service dog. I was able to do what I wanted to do. Run 3 marathons, anything that sounded fun, I was able to go do. But the reason why is because I took those steps that my mentor told me all those years ago, and I implemented them into my life. I said, I'm going to go from step 1 to step 10. I'll be present at all the meetings. I'll fill a role as necessary, and I'm not going to skip. How many of us in our lives have tried to skip a step? You've tried to skip a step saying, I don't need to do that. There's a faster, easier, quicker way to do it. Have we? Anybody? I mean, I have. I can tell you along the way, I wanted to skip steps. And there were times where I did skip steps. And I had to come back and start over. But what we need to understand is that if we stick to the steps and we stick to the focus, it will change you. But it doesn't change you overnight. It took years. It took years of failures, countless nights of not being able to sleep because I wasn't for sure how we were going to make payroll. It took countless hours of driving on the road, ensuring that something got done because I had to make sure my commitments were met. All of that developed me to what you see tonight. All those failures and all those successes have given me the opportunity that I can be able to do what I want to do now, thankfully. And I'm so fortunate to that. But I'm fortunate because I took that step 13 years ago. So tonight, what step can you take? What step can you take tonight to put you back at step 1 if necessary, or step 5 or step 6? But what step can you take tonight to help grow you to that next level, to help move you to the next possible place that could be your forever? I made that change because for so many years, I was just living life. Now, because I was able to take those steps, I can now live the life I want to live. Mr. Toastmaster.
Thank you.
Yeah.